Let's go over to another massive upset in the ACC yesterday. That was SMU beating number 10 Miami 26-20 in overtime. Let's go over the highest graded players, starting off with the SMU Mustangs. Highest graded player for them was actually Kevin Jennings, the quarterback. We'll talk about him later, with a 90 PFF grade. But after that, you got Ahmad Moses, the safety, 84.6 with the game-sealing interception against Carson Beck in overtime. Brandon Miazono, the linebacker, 80.8. Jordan Hudson, the wide receiver, had a great game in this one, 77.9. Kiviante Spears, the D-tackle, 77.2. And Zake Barker with a 72.3 grade. Let's go over to Miami with their highest grade players in the loss. Highest grade player is actually Carson Beck, even with that interception, with a 78.1 grade out there. Keelan Marion, 75.3, the wide receiver. Keontae Scott, the corner, 74.4. Edge rusher Akeem Mesidor, 72.3. Damari Brown, the corner, 71.9. And Mark Fletcher, the running back, 69.8. Dalton, what told the story of this game?
Honestly, if you were to just look at the numbers in this game, you would almost have no idea how Miami lost when you really look at it. I mean, you have a team that came out. First of all, we talk about Carson Beck and clean pockets and how good Miami's offensive line is. They were really good. Carson Beck, 42 dropbacks. He was under pressure on 2 of them. 2. I don't know the last time I saw that. 2 out of 42. Miami in regulation, SMU had 25 rushing yards on their drive in overtime, right? They drove right down to the end zone on the ground. In regulation, SMU had 17 rushing yards. Miami had the ball for 37 and a half minutes. They went 7 of 16 on third down. Their quarterback was their highest graded player. It almost makes no sense that they lost this game. And then you look at, they had 12 penalties for 96 yards. You had Carson Beck with his one bad throw of the game at the absolute worst time when they were inside the 5-yard line down there in overtime, and Ahmad Moses makes a great play for the interception. And then the one split you really look at, and there's a couple of teams that did this week. Miami, once they got into SMU territory, everything just stalled repeatedly. And that's no more embodied than with Carson Beck. Carson Beck, when plays started in his own territory, had an 88.6 passing grade. In SMU territory, a 58.6 passing grade. Miami didn't finish drives. The big roughing the passer penalty that kept SMU in it, that was tough. And then in overtime, they just lost all of the key moments in this game, despite a lot of parts of the team playing well. And, credit to Rhett Lashley and the game plan that he had coming off the contract extension, because he knew, again, just like Jeff Brom did for Louisville, hey, we work around this defensive line, we got a shot. And he asked Kevin Jennings for a lot. But Miami, a lot of the numbers in this game tipped the scales toward them, and they didn't finish drives. They didn't finish the game. They lost all the big moments, and SMU won all those big moments and found a way to get a huge win. And how about a huge win after an upset loss of their own to Wake Forest at the last second last week? Just unbelievable stuff for the Mustangs to bounce back and get themselves right back in this ACC race.
Yeah, Kevin Jennings was just phenomenal in this one. 91.8 passing grade is my stat that told the story in this one. 365 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, 4 big-time throws, and no turnover-worthy plays. And SMU's offensive line, which is my side of the preview, I talked about how, SMU had the second best pass blocking grade in the country, only behind Oregon, but they will be tested against what has been maybe the best defensive line in the country in Miami. And SMU's offensive line won that battle. Kevin Jennings was only under pressure on 12 of his 49 dropbacks against Miami. And still, when he was under pressure, he was great. 80.8 passing grade under pressure against Miami as well. He played on time and with good accuracy, which is something we haven't said a lot for Kevin Jennings in his career. 82% adjusted completion rate, about a 2.5 second average time to throw as well. He did not make any back-breaking plays and still produced his highest graded game of the season against that defense. Unlike Carson Beck, who overall played pretty well, but made a back-breaking mistake, obviously, in that overtime. Kevin Jennings was absolutely phenomenal in this game.
And much like I said, Jeff Brom with Louisville against this Miami team when they beat them, just an outstanding game plan. I thought especially early in the game. Look, Rhett Lashley basically conceded that he was not going to be able to run the football on this team and Ruben Bain in this defensive line. So what did he do? Quick passing game, screens. They ran 7 screens, got 46 yards out of it in this game. Play action heavy, 43% play action in this game. Kevin Jennings on those play action dropbacks, 93.9 passing grade with 3 big-time throws. And I find interesting that lately there's been more of an emphasis on Jennings getting rid of the football. We know he can be a roller coaster late in plays, and sometimes you kind of need that when you're trying to pull off an upset like this against a defense like this. But Kevin Jennings now 5 games in a row where his average time to throw was under 2.6 seconds, 2.54 in this game. Find that very interesting. SMU could obviously only wonder the position they would be in had they finished off the game against Wake Forest. But to bounce back with a win like this, and as well as Kevin Jennings plays, we know when he plays clean football, he can be really, really good. You had him as the number 10 quarterback coming into the year, didn't you? And that's just the idea, is that if you can avoid the low end of that roller coaster, he's a dangerous playmaker. He was all day. Rhett Lashley asked Jennings to carry them in this game, and he absolutely did it to the highest degree.
And I know SMU has 3 losses on the year, but only one of those losses is in ACC play. So SMU is very, very much in the race for the ACC title game right now. And, you know, for SMU offense, Dalton only had 42 yards rushing and 1.8 yards per carry. Kevin Jennings had to carry this offense, and he did just that to beat Miami. Who was your most impressive part of this game?
I mean, look, between this and the North Carolina win, it was a good week to be a Jordan Hudson, apparently. So 11 catches. I know, sorry.
Damn.
11 catches for 136 yards for Jordan Hudson. Look, if you're going to have a quarterback playing like that, you need somebody to step up on the outside that makes those big plays. He did it. 8 first downs out of those 11 catches, 3 explosive plays, 3 missed tackles, 4. He was all over the place. In past games, we've seen guys like Romello Brinson or even the tight end step up for this team. Jordan Hudson was awesome in this game. He was their number 1 threat. He was in chemistry with Kevin Jennings all day long.
I got to shout out Rhett Lashley, the head coach for SMU. What a weekend for Rhett Lashley. Again, on Friday night, this guy signs a 2-year extension at SMU, made him one of the 10 highest paid coaches in all of college football, and put any rumors of him leaving SMU for his alma mater in Arkansas to bed. He will be at SMU. And then right after that, he beat Miami in SMU's first top 10 win in a very, very long time. He brought SMU to the playoff last year, the best season that they've had since 1984, which was right before they received a 2-year death penalty at that program. He got a big raise, and he showed that it was worth it less than 24 hours after that raise, honestly. So what a weekend for Rhett Lashley right now. And like I said, SMU, with only 1 conference loss right now, they are still very, very much in the running for an ACC title.
Some big games left. They've got Boston College next week, and then they get Louisville and Cal, which are 2 massive games. That SMU-Louisville game is probably just going to be an elimination game when it comes to the ACC race. And then you get Cal right after that on the road. That's still not an easy game. We saw Cal take Virginia to the brink yesterday. They've played well in spurts all season. So SMU's still got a tough road to go, but they are in this thing because of the way they bounced back off of that Wake Forest loss.
And now Miami, all of a sudden, with 2 losses on the year, and they're behind the 8 ball. They're behind the 8 ball, and Dalton, even if they're at 10-2 on the year and don't make the ACC title game, it's going to be a fascinating conversation if they can even get in the playoff.
I mean, honestly, the way they've played offensively against good teams this year, I mean, that they got to go at Pitt. Even if they're going to survive this against NC State and Virginia Tech first, they got to go at Pitt, their last game of the year, and Pitt's red hot the way they've been playing lately. That's not going to be easy either. And honestly, even if they finish 10-2, feels a lot like last year, doesn't it? Where it just feels like they don't have enough great wins. Obviously, USF is a good win. Florida State doesn't look as good. You're basically carrying yourself on the Notre Dame and the USF win, 2 of their first 3 wins of the year, to go, is this enough? And I don't know that it is if you're losing to Louisville, if you're losing to SMU, and if you lose another game, then you have a problem.
And also, can we just point out right now, this is a bad loss for Miami. This is a bad loss for Notre Dame, too. All of a sudden, because Dalton, if they are 10-2 at the end of the year, and you're talking about 10-2 Miami and a 10-2 Notre Dame, I know my answer. I'm curious what you think. I think you got to put Miami over them. If you're deciding between those two, I mean, Miami beat them head-to-head.
Yeah, the head-to-head. The resumes are, the resumes otherwise are relatively similar, right? I mean, you know, Notre Dame's best win is USC right now, and obviously they're ranked, and they earned that one. But, no, head-to-head, if that's the last tiebreaker we're looking at, it has to be Miami. I agree with that.
So, We thought Notre Dame at 10-2 was pretty much a lock to get in, but with all these chaotic results going on in the ACC, all of a sudden the Fighting Irish have to be not feeling great right now.
Well, and the other thing too, you still have some developments at the top of the Big 12 there with a BYU and even Texas Tech, where that's going. They still only have the one loss this year, but also the SEC and all of the teams with at least the potential to get to 10 wins. We saw 4 out of the SEC last year, but just about any 10-2 SEC team is going to have a better resume than Notre Dame, and that's not great. We could even see 5 out of the SEC this year.
I really think this Tuesday night with the first playoff ranking reveal is going to tell us a lot. Because if they, for some reason, if they still have Notre Dame above Miami, which I think is possible, that'll cause a lot of controversy.
They're another one. I'm telling you, the dangerous team that I've mentioned a couple times already is Pittsburgh. Don't put that game past Pitt at home to beat Notre Dame too. That's going to be a dangerous
Miami.
one.
I got Miami too.
Yeah.
So,
no, Pitt
could be the giant killer.
Pitt against Pitt's last 3 games. I think it's their last 3 games are Notre Dame, Georgia Tech, Miami. They could screw up the whole thing. The Pitt Panthers could mess up the entire thing here. I mean, they are red hot with Mason Heinschel at quarterback, and their defense is really good. They've got an opportunity to be the party crasher. That's one we're not talking about enough. Pitt could rebound from early struggles, a loss to West Virginia early in the year, and win the ACC and be a playoff team. They're in this. Mason Heinschel, man, the freshman quarterback. And those 3 games right there, you couldn't ask for 3 more monumental games all back to back.
I think what this playoff ranking will be on Tuesday will set the tone for the rest of the year. Just how this committee is viewing it right now. Because I'm very curious to see how they view all these 2-loss teams right now in college football, Texas included in that mix as well.